the next thing, I know a lot of people will get butthurt, love it or hate it, but this is going to be the thing that is going to hold you back and make your low end sound bad. In this video, I'm going to teach you how to pick and create your own signature kicks for your tracks completely from scratch. These kicks are going to sound amazing, as good as in your favorite tracks. That's going to be pretty much it. I don't want to make the intro too long. That's the pitch. That's the promise. For those of you who are interested in working with me one-on-one, there's links down below. Just book a call, send me a message on Instagram if you want to learn more about my coaching program. I also do have an online school, which is going to be like quite inexpensive. All the information you can get down below. Just send me a message and let's get started with the video. All right, so before we jump into Ableton, let's talk a little bit about the theory, the fundamental things that you need to understand, and the mindset that you need to adopt. So step number one is going to be understanding the vibe. I'll show you examples in Ableton just in a minute, but let's talk about step number one. So when you are making a kick, a track, like overall, what we need to understand is the vibe. So what is it the thing that you are shooting for? Because if you don't know what is it the result that you want to get, how can you know what kind of a kick you want in your track, right? So there's always going to be like a limit in which we work, right? So here, pretty much the same thing. So again, this is just the first example. There's always going to be a limit, and then if you go like above the limit, if you step out of your like limits and the results that you want to get, this stuff is just not going to work. Let me give you a specific example. So let's say we have a reference track. So we are going for a very sub-focused low end, which is really smooth. Kick doesn't have a lot of mid punch, no aggressive click also. So this is the reference, which is like pretty soft. I tried to illustrate it with the shape. And here we have our track, you have your track, which is like too aggressive. As you can see on the diagram, it's just not going to work, right? So let me jump back into Ableton. And then I'm going to show you two tracks that I used as references for my own track. So this is the track number one. Just observe how it sounds. So it describes really well the type of sound that I want to go for in my track. And it's very close to what we just had here in the presentation, right? And then the second track is also pretty similar, but it's a little bit more like aggressive on the highs. Not too aggressive though, just check it out. So those are the two tracks, and this is my track, which is something in the middle between those two tracks. If I play you the track, it's going to sound something like, it's not finished, not like fully mixed, but you'll get the point in the video. So this is kind of something in between, right? So step number one is understand the vibe, understand the results that you want to go for. What will be useful is asking these questions. What kind of kick do I want in the track? Is the kick long or short? Does the kick have a lot of low end, or is it more like a thin version of the kick, right? So the bass is the element which has more low frequencies. Is the kick going to be louder than the bass? What is the role of the kick in the track compared to bass, right? So you want to be analytical. Like I can show you as many specific tactics as you want, but the thing is, if you don't learn how to think, you will not be able to achieve the results. I'm going to teach you both the tactics and the mindset that you need to adopt. Okay, so again, number two. Actually, it's the first step. It is really all about direction. So clear goal or the vision is going to be like a really, really easy path to the result that you want. And if you don't know where to go, how can you get the results that you want, right? So this is a really good illustration. And this is, in fact, this was something that I had struggles in my own track, which I'm going to talk about soon in the tutorial, right? So step number two is references are important. And I'm going to show you a very specific example with the kick that I made first, and then what I changed. And then you're going to see a really, really big difference. So let's say we have a reference, and reference is a good example of a track, like stuff that already works, right? So in this example, it looks like this. So what you want to do is at some point you want to copy. So it is sort of very similar to the reference that we have, but you can see I put like a red shape here and a yellow shape as well. So these two parts are a little bit different, and then these two parts are a little bit different. And then let's say like this part is roughly the same. Again, this is all just like illustrative examples. It's not like something very specific. It's more about the logic. So you want to copy and then just tailor that to yourself. So again, with reference, it will be really, really easy to understand how much low end do I need, what kind of like a kick character that I need for my track, and so on and so on and so on. So let me jump back into the project, and I'm going to show you a kick that I made first without reference, just to illustrate how important it is to have a good reference track. So that is the kick that I had from the beginning, and I was struggling to get the right balance for my track. Once I remade the kick, the problem just disappeared, right? Let me show you. So like the kick is sound, it may sound it's okay, right? Especially with the top click. Sounds like a good kick, right? You might think it's a good kick. But once we test it, once we give it a test, let's say in the nightclub, it's just not good. So once I replace the kick with the new one that I made, just check it out how clean the bass line is sounding now after I replaced it with a kick that I made according to the reference track. So it's not compressed. I have zero processing on the kick, right? Besides a little bit of EQ. Once I shape it a little bit, let's say with the low shelf here, even just like this, right? It will already help to already so much better than the first one, right? So once again, and without the click, it just doesn't sound good, right? So this is my point with using references. It will be so much easier to create a kick for your track once you have something to reference to, right? So this is very, very important. It's like basic stuff, but then again, I sometimes don't follow these rules, and then I spend a lot of time in trying to fix my bass line, and it just doesn't work because the kick is off, because I just didn't reference it. Okay, so why use references? In the beginning, it's okay to copy a bit. You will change it later anyway. This is super important for low end and like overall balance of the track. It will really, really help. References give you direction. Comparing face to face will uncover problems in your mix, and then again, just by comparing, you will understand if the kick is off, if like drums are off, anything. It will save you a lot of time if you start with references from the beginning. Just like trust me, like this stuff works. Okay, so let's talk about step number 3, and this is something that I got wrong. This is something that I see a lot of people getting wrong. So I talked about that, but I will talk again. There's always a limited amount of space in the mix. So if we have the kick and if we have the bass, you need to decide which instrument is going to have the most space in the track, right? So it's either going to be like this or like this. So long kick, short bass, long bass, short kick. No other way around that. Like if you do like something in the middle, it's just like half-assing, just not going to work. So it's either going to be like the kick might be a lot longer, maybe a little bit longer, but one element is inevitably going to be a little bit longer. That's important to keep in mind, right? So this is just the illustration. And then I want to show you this example. What is going to happen if we have 2 short kick or right kick and 2 long kick? So let me go back to this track, to this example. And then we're going to work a little bit with the kick here. So first, I'm going to make the kick really long. So right now it is maybe like just a little bit too long. I need to tweak that a little bit. But overall, it is a pretty good kick. So let's make it like really, really long and just see how it's going to sound with the bass line. It's just going to sound super off. Is it? Oh wait, that was the wrong kick. I'm sorry. It should be this one instead. So this is the one. So let me do like this. So we're gonna make it really long. So even like this, I can hear that the kick is eating so much space with the bass line. It's just fully off. And then we can test that if we cut the highs on the master channel. We just don't have space for our bass, and this is a huge problem, and this is something that you have to always keep in mind. So always double check the length. It is very important, because otherwise, from my experience, I tested like a lot of my tracks in the club, and sometimes I got the balance right, sometimes I got the balance wrong. So the point is, you always want to check. So if you fail it, this is what is going to happen. This is exactly what just happens to my track. The kick is just eating up the bass, right? And it's just gonna ruin, like it's gonna completely ruin the balance of the low end in your track. So you want to avoid that. So this is one example, right? So once we go even like a little bit back, let's say we go a little bit back. So just check it. This is, I think it's gonna be like the perfect length. If we make it too short, like, I mean, really short. Now we just don't have enough punch. So too long kick, not good. Too short kick, not good. And the same thing is going to happen to the bass line, right? So if we have too much release time, too much sustain, it's going to be the same thing. So I don't think I need to go and show you the same thing with the bass line, but let's say I'm going to unmute the filter. Now we just don't have enough of like the punch on the kick. It's just like way too short. So once we go back, maybe we make it slightly, like just a little bit shorter. Maybe like this, right? So you name it. But the most important point is always check the length of the kick and the bass. So I think I need to do like this. So how do you check the kick and the bass length? There's actually like a really easy way. If you're using any like volume shapers, I'm sure there's some free stuff out there. But basically you want to put an oscilloscope on the kick to see the length. If you have LFO tool, what else? Shaper box, like those volume shapers, they always show you the length of the kick. And you can just simply put the volume shaper on the kick. Let's say that's going to be LFO tool. It's just something that I have. So we have the LFO tool. We're going to put it on the kick like this. And then you want to activate the waveform. So the kick is roughly this long, or like roughly around here. So what you want to do now, as you know the length of the kick, you want to go to your baseline. You want to open the channel, put LFO tool onto the channel. I'm going to disable the another volume shaper that I had. And then you just want to replicate the shape and like make your curve look like the length of the kick. So in this case, again, you want to listen, you want to reference with the filter on the master. Like you can use your ears, you can use additional tools. Right, so we can do like, I don't know where the click is happening here, but so this is gonna be way too long. But if we make it too short, so it is somewhere like around here. Of course, this might not be like perfectly tuned, but the point is that it is really easy to see the length with those volume shapers, oscilloscope. Just Google free oscilloscope and you will find it. The next, oh yeah, this is actually the what I just did, right? So now once we understand the length, we can do the side chain. So on your bass, you want to replicate the curve, or like the envelope, so it should be around the same. One additional thing that you can do is putting a filter on the master channel. So just like this, right? So you want to solo this up. You can even go lower than 120. You do this on your master channel, and then you will understand if the kick is too long, if the bass is too short or too long, right? So once again, we're just gonna put this on the master. So I can clearly hear the kick, which is really good. Again, we have to keep in mind this is not mixed. I'm not using like any compression or anything at this point yet. So that's the thing. Okay, and then let's talk about the next thing. Step 4, kick pitch. So I want to explain the reason why the first one, kick, worked and why the second kick didn't work. So let's call this the first kick. Even by listening to it, it's really nice. Like, it's really subby kick. Not too aggressive. It's just like well-rounded, right? It's really good. I like it the way it is. Even with the drums. And then once we listen to the first one, it's a bit too long. Let's say we're gonna make it like this. Like, here's the thing. I wouldn't say there's a bad or good kick. It is all about the context. In this case, this kick, it just doesn't work with the bass line. Although it may seem it's not bad, once we listen, like, in the club setting, it just, like, it's way too muddy in the mids. It has too many frequencies in the mids and so on. So this one is really, really clean, right? So if you take a look at the pitch of the kick, so you can see here that in this case, in the first example, our main harmonic, it is like pretty much at the same place. But the thing is, like, it's very definable, right? So it is like this shape. So it is dominant or like prominent. In this case, if we take a look at the kick sound, just by looking at the, let's say at the EQ, just by soloing the kick, it's like, just sounds kind of weird. So if we cut the mids, it's gonna kill the kick. So no matter what you do with compression, with other things, it's just not gonna really sound that good. So keep that in mind. But with the first kick, even if I just completely remove the processing on the kick, sorry, that was two kicks playing at the same time. Right, so I like the second kick way more. So the pitch is really, really important. Also, something that we have to keep in mind is the pitch of the bass. So if we look at the bass, depending on if you have a D bass or a little bit like top end, like the bass which is higher, the register basically, this will determine how deep or like how low you can go with the kick. With this bass, so we have two harmonics, right? Like this is the main one. This is the second one here. It's very low, but with this kick, it works really well even without any processing, which is really, really good. You want to shoot for that, aim for that. But with the first one, it's like, it just doesn't sound good, right? So look at where the pitch of the kick is. You really want to have like one main dominant and like prominent harmonic in the pitch. If you see like something like that, you know, if you compare it to this one, it has two like mini mids, like low mids. You want to avoid that. But then again, it will depend on the context. This is very important. Then the next thing, I know a lot of people will get butthurt, love it or hate it, but this is going to be the thing that is going to hold you back and make your low end sound bad. And what I'm talking about is going to be using samples versus using your own kicks. And I have a very, very strong philosophy about that. I do believe that you should be making your own kicks for one simple reason. If you want to sound like as you want. You want to sound unique, right? You want to express your personality, your style with your music. If you're using samples, how can you sound unique if this is not the kick that you have designed? So the problem that I'm always having with kicks from the sample packs is very simple. I'm not able to make the kick that I want. So I can go through, let's say I could go through my drums, and we're gonna go to the drums, and you're gonna see what I mean. So let's say we do kicks. I'm gonna duplicate the channel. And let's say this is gonna be kick 3. Gonna make it pink. So let me remove everything from the channel here. And we're just going to import the kick. And let's make sure that it is, let's say it's going to sound something like this. So first of all, I'm not liking the click. Just doesn't sound good to me. And it just sounds off. Like, even if I shorten the envelope, I still have so little control. It's just the length, and then like, yes, I can pitch it, but it sounds kind of off. And this is the problem with the ready kicks. They don't give you control. Like, I want to have 100% control over my kick. That's the point. And this is something that took me a bit of time to understand, but right now, I never use sample kick. I may use it for the start, but I will never use it in the final version of the track. Just like, this is my philosophy. Like, love it or hate it, but this is, I truly believe that making your own kicks will take your music to the next level. Once you learn how to shape the low ends that you want, this is what will help you with achieving your signature sound in music, right? So, and again, I can replace it with something like, so it is not nearly as good as this one. No, I'm sorry, not this one, but bring it back. It just doesn't sound good. Like, I don't want to be spending time on selecting the kicks when I can just make the kick that I want, right? This is very important. I know, again, a lot of people get a butt hurt from that, but this is just my philosophy. So again, why make your own kicks? Shape it however you want. There's going to be the pitch, the shape, and so on. It's easy to tweak and make it fit in the track. Plus, you can save a preset and then tweak that. Just change it a little bit for the next track. This is going to be your own signature low end. And there's going to be no need to go through 1,000 samples, spend time on that, which I think is counterintuitive and just not very productive when it comes to creating music. So how to make your own kicks. This is going to be the last part of this video. So I actually forgot to put text here, but basically you want to listen to the reference and try to replicate the same vibe in your track. So in this part of the video, I think it's going to take like maybe like 5-10 minutes, maybe 15, I don't know. But I want to show you the process how I'm making kicks in Kick 2, so you could do the same thing for your track. So let's say we're going to start from scratch. So let me delete this channel. And we're going to start completely from scratch. So the kick new, I'm going to duplicate the channel. And I'm going to load a standard kick. So let me just remove everything from here. No processing, nothing here. We're going to go and we are going to load the default preset, and this is going to be our starting point. So first I'm going to disable all the clicks. I'm not using it. No distortion, no EQ, just like nothing. I don't want to have anything here. Like, no compression. I don't need that. I just need the body of the kick. So what you want to do right now is, first thing is just, let's select the length. I think the last one was like 150. And I'll just try to make the kick sound how I want. So first, it may be a little bit too loud. So what we're going to do, we're just going to listen to the references. This is going to be our first step, just to understand the vibe that we are going for. So here. So we want to analyze. You want to analyze the bass and the kick. Let's also listen to the first one. Like pretty nice kicks, right? So what we're gonna do here, disable the filter. Maybe just close a little bit. Okay, so I sort of understand the character of the kick, and then again, keep in mind the kick that you want, but also compare to the reference. Okay, so here, let's make this one pink, and then just play. One thing that is really, really helpful for me is going to be this plugin called Real Phones. Like, I do a lot in the clip settings. It basically emulates the clip. I really, really recommend this plugin. I'm not affiliated. I wish I was. Maybe I should talk to them. But like, not kidding, like non-ironically, this is the best plugin that is helping me to mix in headphones. These are like $50, and I'm doing a lot of mixing, pretty much all the mixing on those headphones, and I'm able to achieve really, really good sound, right? So here, first we want to have sort of the same loudness for our kick as the right one, so this is a nice one. Maybe this kick is actually going to be even better than the first one, right? So let's use this as a starting point. Why I really like this plugin is going to be the shape. I mean, like the shape that I can tweak here. So you see, I almost got like a perfect kick. Like, how much time did I spend on this? Like 2 minutes? So with this, we can control the amount of like punch on the kick. It's going to be a little bit too long, but let's say something like this. And then the tail, I would say, needs to be something like that. Shape this one a bit. Make this one a bit shorter. So maybe you want to too much. Bring it back. Something like this. Okay, let's use this as a starting point. We'll tweak that a bit later. Okay, the next thing that we want to do is find the right pitch point, really. So let's start with the low harmonic, sort of the key of the track. Not the track. I mean, like the root note, the root harmonic of the kick in this case. So I want you to observe how much the sound of the bass changes once you change the notes, or like the pitch points of the kick here. So D1 is pretty good here. So let's zoom in. And from here, I'll try to find more pitch points. Those two, like the first one is very important. So I like leaving it like, it is giving us that really, really nice click that you can, after that, like you can remove it with the EQ, but I like it because it just sounds nice, right? This is a little bit too much, right? So we want to around here. And then we can either move this one. That's a little bit, actually like this, it's already sounding like pretty freaking good. Alright, so this is good. I would probably go with a bit. I like it how it was. Maybe we can go like 700. Listen to the bass really carefully. So let's say around here. So after that, we basically just want to find the next point. too much. So if you want to go up like really subby kick, this is what you can do. But this one, you can see this frequency, like this point is taking a little bit of space for the bass line. Again, like you can shape it with the EQ, but keep in mind that it's really important to get the kick right from the beginning without like in the EQ and stuff. So I want to get it right. So probably should be maybe... So this sounds decent, but not bad. So I think around... Again, like, I'm not going to try to make it perfect. I'm just going to teach you, and then you should use your ears to do that. This is just like a guideline. Do not try to copy me. So now the kick is a little bit... It's a little bit too high. This is too low. So once we move one note... So you see how much changed. A lot of changed. Has changed. It's a little bit better. I think we could... And those two kicks are very similar. Like you can see, like very similar. Just this is the type of kick that I really, really like. I just hate kicks with too much mid frequency. It's just not my thing. So this is the kick that I really, really like. Okay. And then again, like always keep in mind that with the shape, if you got wrong shape, even with the right pitch points, just not gonna sound good. Okay. So here we can try one more. Sounding really good. Okay, just an example. This is good, but so we are adding one more point here. You see how important it is to have the right pitch point. Like I can't stress it enough. This is super important. And then like you just shape it further with this is off. This one is sounding good. A little bit too much, so we should do around here. I think we can just stop here. Okay, here I think it's nearly perfect. So I think it was like D sharp or wait. Ah, wait, shit. What happens to the... I don't know what happens to the kick, but... Maybe I turned off something, but... okay, I mean, it's... Yeah, something happened to the kick, but again, this is not the point. I think like this is more than enough to illustrate to you the concept of creating a kick for your track, right? So again, we can then shape it a little bit more with the, you can see just by getting this wrong, you are killing the low end in the track. This is actually really good. And then just shape it further. And then look, the rest is going to be in your hands, right? So with some additional EQing, processing, so if you want to make it sit a little bit more, what we can do here is, let's say we're going to remove a bit of lows, just a bit, right? Too much. Although I would say this is almost like ideal. So all we really need to do is make it softer. Then we can maybe cut a little bit here. Again, don't do too much. You don't want to solve the problem with the processing. Really, the key to achieving a good sounding low end is going to be a good kick. That's going to be pretty much it. Okay, so yeah, that's going to be pretty much it for this tutorial. So this all should give you a really, really good guideline and step-by-step plan on how you can create good sounding kicks for your tracks. So that was it, guys. Hope you enjoyed the tutorial. Thank you very much for watching this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.